A Sydney police station has been surrounded by anti-Israel protesters overnight, with officers forced to form a protective ring around the building. Hundreds had gathered in protest against police actions in the city during Monday night's demonstration, where 27 people were arrested, 9 charged and 10 police officers injured. That includes one officer who allegedly had his hand bitten while trying to control that rally. For more, Kelly Sloan, New South Wales Opposition Leader, joins us. Good morning to you. What needs to be done here to bring down this temperature?
Well, I think the protesters, the professional protesters, the ratbags at the front of these protests and rallies need to start listening to the police commissioner and to the public who are sick and tired of these weekly protests in our city. We need to bring down the temperature. There were very good people who attended those rallies who dispersed peacefully, but those that stayed, that put our police officers at risk, who put other people at risk, need to be brought to justice.
So obviously no police officer should turn up to work and expect to be injured. There were injured police officers. One had their finger bitten. But on the flip side, we keep seeing this footage of a police officer punching someone who appears to have their hands in the air. What's your take on that?
Well, we don't know the circumstances, and I have to accept what the police commissioner said and the premier, that there is context for that. We don't know what happened outside of the frame. We don't know what happened before or after. But I tell you what I'm hearing from people who are sitting in their lounge rooms right now, who've had a rise in interest rates, who've had big bills with their kids going back to school, new school shoes, books, who've seen crime rise in their neighbourhoods and are seeing police diverted from their streets every week on week, to deal with these protesters, most of them professional protesters, professional ratbags. And that people have had a gutful. It's really hard to stomach when they're seeing their taxpayers' dollars being diverted away from their communities to deal with these weekly protesters. And the police have also had a gutful, because the police are the ones whose patience has been tested, and they have had the patience of saints, but they have been put in the middle of a violent protest which could have been held elsewhere, safely. And that is not the country we want to see. That is not what we want to see in the middle of our CBD.
Let's talk about Grace Tame. She was calling out "globalise the intifada." We understand that is one of the pretty contentious chants that the current government wants to ban. Should she be stripped of her Australian of the Year title?
If it is found to be a crime, and potentially under the current state laws, if that phrase is used to incite violence, it is a crime. If it's a crime, then yeah, absolutely. But let's not give her more oxygen. Let's not replay that anymore. I think people are sick and tired of antagonistic comments, of this disruption on our streets. And I would encourage all Australians, especially those in leadership positions, not to do that. Grace wasn't the only one who was shouting at that rally. Premier Chris Minns has been strong on this, but he has been undermined by his own team. He had 4 members of his Labor caucus, 4 MPs, Labor MPs, at the front of that rally too. How on earth can you control law and order in this state if you can't control your own team?
It's a legal protest. They were allowed to be there, weren't they?
Yeah, but the Premier told everyone else to avoid the CBD, to avoid the protests for their safety and security, but his own team members turned up. So this is a hopeless situation that calls for leadership, and that leadership is being undermined at the moment. So we need consistency from our elected officials and those that hold positions of power and influence, including Grace Tame.
OK, Kelly Sloan, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Nat.